Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. I'm going to cover these quick topics real quick before we get into the real content of the video. This says Fidelity rumored to make a seismic crypto move soon. Rumors are Fidelity will buy out Grayscale or file a spot Bitcoin ETF application as BlackRock did last week. So with this, I get, there's going to be like some sort of, battle of who has the most Bitcoin amongst these major players within the industry. So all this is going to do is bring more liquidity, more money to come into the market with this. So it's going to be a kind of a waiting game to kind of see what happens here. Tony hits it on the head here with this tweet. It says, keep your eyes and ears open, folks. I think BlackRock news is the first domino to fall. BlackRock files for Bitcoin spot ETF. Rumor is Fidelity is about to file for BTC spot ETF as well. Reports earlier this year was NASDAQ wants to launch a crypto custody service by middle of this year. We could get this news soon. And it says Amazon NFT marketplace is set to launch this year. We could get this soon. So there's a lot of adoption and continued growth that's happening behind the scenes, and it could all kind of come out all at once. Kind of like almost like a race to see who can be the dominant force within the industry here. And then just these last two things. Obviously, we know about the Terra Luna Do Kwon debacle and the devastation that it hit in the market. It says Terraform Labs founder Do Kwon found guilty and sentenced in Montenegro. So, hey, you get what you deserve. And then you have prosecutors withdraw SBS 40 million bribery charge to CCP officials. So then there was also an article and tweets that were going around about him snitching on other players within the industry to kind of lessen his sentence. So it's going to be a waiting game to kind of see what happens here. I'm not sure if things are going to play out. I think his hearing was in October, in this upcoming October. So we'll kind of see how things happen there. Obviously, this gentleman should get what he deserves as well. Throw the book at him, as we would say. But now we're going to get into like the actual meat and the major topics within this video. So more stuff on Prometheum and the whole EthGate. In this video, you're going to see like the web is bigger than we think. We're connecting more dots as a community, and that's what we're going to cover. We're going to start with this one from Digital Asset Investor. It says, turns out the Prometheum CEO was, quote, in the room at the Ethereum ICO. Let's take a listen into this podcast here.
We were in the room, like when they were, obviously we weren't part of the project, but when you could have bought ETH in the ICO for 19 cents a pop. At the time, I thought it was a security. Like, who's right? I don't think it matters in that sense. Those guys did really well. They built awesome projects and awesome product, etc. But at the same time, like, it's validating there, but also you missed opportunities because you believed in regulation from the first place. They
were in the room, right? They weren't a part of the project. They could have bought it at 19 cents. He thought it was a security itself. It's kind of crazy, man. And then continuing on here, Digital Asset Investor is covering this tweet he put on March 6th of 2022. It says, we now know JP Morgan was working with Ethereum since before the mainnet launch. And obviously we've seen it on video footage where Joe Lubin was pretty much bragging about it. Like, JP Morgan's been there since the beginning. And he says, I'm thinking Ripple must be a huge threat to incumbents knowing what we know now. Brian Garlinghouse met with Clayton and Hinman, so that's Jay Clayton and William Hinman, without an attorney, in good faith, but they were just collecting information to sue them. Questions I have. Did JP Morgan senior executives meet with Ripple in good faith, or were they just collecting information? Did Vitalik really want to be an intern at Ripple, or was he sent to collect information? Meaning, like, when he was sleeping on the couch, pretty much they were saying maybe he was kind of like a, I forgot the exact word, but like, in a sense, like a spy for somebody to, get information so they can go out and build, the Ethereum network and whatnot, and the smart contracts aspect of it. And then it says, we know JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were working on Ethereum before the mainnet launch. We have it in video. So he just pretty much reiterating kind of what we already know. This web is just massive. So this is something huge that Cowboy Crypto had acknowledged as well. It says this is Sullivan and Cromwell report dated September 26th of 2018, a little more than 3 months after the Hinman speech was given. Sullivan and Cromwell goes on to describe XRP as being a virtual currency in their report. And then it says the report listing XRP as a virtual currency by Sullivan and Cromwell is directly from the IMF website. So a lot of us already kind of are aware of this, and this is just more strength in the category of, how they're trying to turn XRP into this so-called security and, ongoing sales and moving. It's just wild. It makes no sense, especially when you have all these other virtual currency, verbiage that's already been, pretty much brought out there. Cowboy Crypto and the rest of the community. Actually, I'm going to give credit to JT Marlin XRP Financial. So it's JTXR_XRP had found that this whole connection between this plug and play tech company. So it says, has anyone looked into plug and play TC in reference to EthGate and China? Seems interesting that Bill Hinman's family work in there. So coming over here, it says Bill Hinman's son was a venture investor in Ethereum, an Ethereum startup. So people were connecting. Mr. Huber saying, "Are you effing kidding me?" Mind blown. So just seeing that the web is bigger, connecting more dots. And then coming over here, it says plug and play, where Bill Hinman's son was a director of enterprise tech, is invested in Evertas, which has founded by Hashkey, including others. Hashkey also was funded by Hashkey, including others. And Hashkey also funded Prometheum alongside Waxang. So obviously we've been talking about Prometheum in this connection to Waxang, and Waxang pretty much having its tentacles into a whole bunch of different stuff that's connected to EthGate as well. It says Evertas president and co-founder is also ex-Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, so EEA. Conflict. So just more connections, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that's going to be coming from this topic, as you know, we say the Twitter sleuths and XRP community continues to dive into some more research in there. So this is this long tweet thread by John Deaton that I thought was powerful. So I'm going to try to go through it as fast as I can. These are the last three, I guess you could say, slides here that I want to cover. So it says a Hinman deposition. They didn't redact the spelling of consensus. Hinman says he had 4 to 5 meetings with them, but maybe one was a phone call. This is between December 13th of 2017 and June 8th, 2018. We know for sure 4 actual meetings. A meeting with Vitalik Buterin makes 5 minimum. He continues, notice the email reference in his testimony. This is one of the emails that Empower Oversight is fighting to get released, but the SC has refused to turn them over. Now notice that Jay Clayton spoke with him in especially about the consensus meeting at least 1 or 2 times. So he has the documents here. Continues, what is significant about this? Clayton's law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell, Ethereum Joseph Lubin had hired Sullivan and Cromwell to represent consensus shortly after Clayton's nomination as chairman. We can all agree that that was a very smart and savvy move by Joe Lubin. Now this doesn't mean Jay Clayton was bribed, but why is he so interested in these meetings with consensus? Is because Consensus was a huge client of Sullivan and Cromwell's. Why did Hinman out of the blue call Lubin at Consensus? In his deposition, Ripple lawyer asked if Hinman was directed by Clayton to reach out to Consensus. Hinman testified that he doesn't recall one way or the other, but we can clearly see that some entrepreneurs get special access to the regulators while others don't. Yeah, it's shameful. He continues, we've witnessed this with Sam Bankman-Fried and Gary Gensler, and we've witnessed it with Ether folks and Hinman and Clayton. I've never blamed Lubin for seeking regulatory clarity for Ether. I can be critical about other things he said and done, but not for wanting clarity. Here's some facts. On May 4, 2017, Clayton was sworn in as chairman of the SEC. Clayton was a senior partner at Sullivan and Cromwell. Within 2 months of Clayton being sworn in, Lubin hired Patrick Biraducci from Sullivan and Cromwell. And then he's saying, now read this. We're not going to go deep into it. But then he goes, here's Hinman's answer when asked if he knows attorney Lowell Ness from Perkins Coie. Quote, it's ringing a faint bell, but not really. I couldn't pick him out of a crowd. In March 26, 2018, Lowell Ness sent Hinman a memo and Safe Harbor and met him March 28, 2018. So as you can see, if you've been paying attention to everything when these documents got released, all we did was verify and validate what we've already kind of known. And we know that William Hinman was blatantly lying under oath when it came to a lot of things, talking about, he doesn't know of third-party promoters, but you're reaching out to, the likes of Lubin and Vitalik Buterin, trying to figure out more about, the Ethereum network and the Ethereum foundation, if you will. And now he's saying that he don't know, he couldn't pick Lowell Ness out of a crowd, but you got sent an email talking about the Hinman memo on Safe Harbor, right? And you met with him. It's crazy. So continuing on. 2 days after Hinman received, the memo and Safe Harbor from Lowell Ness, he met with Lowell Ness and others. Ness said that Hinman's speech tracked his memo. By the way, there are identical phrases from Lowell Ness's memo that appear in the first draft and even final draft of the speech. I mean, there you go. It's just crazy. So we played this video before on this channel. It says, "Oh, by the way, Lowell Ness has been A16Z's main crypto lawyer for from the very beginning. Hinman is now a partner at A16Z today. His partner, he partners with those who helped write his personal opinion speech that Ether isn't a security. Oh, by the way, the only crypto mentioned in Safe Harbor was ETH. I wonder if Hinman could pick Lowell Ness out of a crowd by now." Providing the timeline that I put out in October 2021 is accurate, here is more of a deposition. Hinman sent an email to someone who he met a couple months ago. Notice Hinman concedes multiple meetings with the person. Notice how he doesn't answer why he set up the meeting. So, I mean, you can pause it and come check it out, or you come check out his thread. I'm not going to show this. We're going to continue reading. He says it goes to something that's... He says it goes to something the staff were deliberating. Hinman's talking about the ETH free pass speech. The ETH co-founder said he's happy to get the call. No crap. The purposes was to learn about the Ethereum support network. So pretty much what I was just saying. According to the timeline, which was put together from all the pleadings and letter motions and exhibits from the Ripple case, Hinman met with Consensus folks and Ether's co-founder again on April 23rd, 2018. Notice the Ripple lawyers asked whether the SEC inquired about how much Ether or the co-founder owned, but Hinman claimed he couldn't recall what he learned about ETH ownership. Hinman testified the SEC learned how much the ETH Foundation owned, but doesn't recall how much. Hinman says he believes the percentage the founder owned was not substantial. Hinman says substantial to him means anything 30-40%, but doesn't know where to draw the line. So he's beating around the bush and he's blatantly lying. It's crazy. Ripple points out to Hinman that at the time, 3 entities controlled over 50% of the voting mining power of ETH, and Hinman admits that the point, or that point is relevant to the views expressed in his speech. Hinman's assured that his staff did a lot of diligence, but can't say what they found. Hinman testified that there was not a due diligence central file kept or memo writing summarizing the diligence or knowledge acquired. He states he did not give the co-founder of ETH a heads up about the speech. Compare this with the video clips found on Crypto Law US. So yeah, we've shown the video clips. It's crazy. He's blatantly lying. He continues. Andreessen Horowitz was discussed in multiple meetings with them or their representatives. Safe Harbor was discussed. That was from the Perkins Coie by Lowell Ness in the March 28th meeting with him and others. You know, the guy that Hinman said he couldn't pick out of a crowd. So yeah. So long story short, I mean, there's a lot more happening within this thread itself. Long story short, it's just stuff we already know. I mean, that's simply how it is. All we're doing is just further validating and strengthening, you know, we're not some grand conspiracy. Like, this is a real thing. EthGate is a real thing, and it's massive. DAI hit that on the head, man. It really is. It's bigger than, you know, the Do Kwons and Terra Lunas and Sam Bankman-Fried's, man. This thing goes deep. This is from CoinDesk. It says, Hinman documents released in SEC Ripple case is a boost to Ether, JP Morgan. The documents are likely to intensify the move among major cryptocurrencies to become more decentralized and look more like Ether. So Mr. Huber says, can't make this up. Why do you think JP Morgan, of all people, is commenting on this detail? And then coming over here says, just to be clear, Ripple spends over $100 million, has been fighting for these documents for 2.5 years, and is now calling for a special investigation into the SEC and Hinman for corruption due to possible bribes from Ethereum investors. And mainstream media is now explaining how these documents are nothing burger for Ripple and XRP, but great for Ethereum because they confirm its unique status. Yeah, nonsense. It's crazy, man. This thing is big, and we're just gonna continue to fight the good fight. Currently looking at CoinGecko, we're sitting at a $1.1 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 26,765. Ethereum sitting at 1730. XRP sitting just under 50 cents, and we're sitting at a 47 on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. It's wild, man. That's what I have for you, though. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto's Key 1. I really appreciate your support. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.